For this group, I now have to create number range like this number range or this number. And we can create multiple number ranges like this for multiple groups, one for each. So to identify this number range, I can give a code, let's say number range A, number range B. That means my number range A is going to be 101 to 200. My number range B will be 201 to 300. Or I can give number as well, 11, 12. Number range 11 means this one, number range 12 is. That means to identify my series, I can specify any code. Can be alphabetic, alphanumeric, numeric as well. All right. So now to create a number range for my group, I come to create a number range. This step, create number range. And here we have 3 buttons. Throughout our training in this SAP, we'll be seeing these different buttons. If you have this image like spectacles kind of button, which means this button is display button, means display intervals. Display interval means something is already created, you just want to display, click on this, like this. And we have a display. If you have a button which is like this pencil kind of button, means here we can create or change something. I click on this, I say this one. All the number ranges I have here, either I want to make some changes here or I want to create new number range. I come to this. And there is something called a status. We come to status a little later. So for now, you want to create your interval for your vendor account, to click on this interval button, change interval. And we come to this screen. Suppose we are planning to create 11 for my series 101 to 200. To create this number range interval, I click on this insert interval button. This is my insert interval button. I click on this button and I put my code and the series which I want to create, let's say 201 to 300. And as soon as I press enter and I say my number range 11 for the series 201 to 300 will be created. So if I press enter, system gives me this message. Interval already available. What it means is, here in this section, you can see so many ranges. Every single number range has to be unique. Cannot be a repetitive or duplicate range. It creates conflict. So because I'm trying to create this one, which is already created here somewhere, system says you cannot use existing range to create it again, right? So what I'm trying to explain that every number range you want to create has to be unique range. You see, this is unique. Like 11 is 101 to 200, 12 is 201 to 300, different ranges. That way, every number range has to be unique. This is one option. Second, I can use the number range which is already created as well, like from the from this. If I want to use, let's say, number 3. I decide not to create any new. I decided to use the existing one. Let's say this one. That means whenever I create my vendor for my group, my vendor will be assigned number from the series 03, means this one. Now I have a question for you. If I plan to use this range 03 for my group, how many vendors maximum can be created in this through this range? Anyone please? range is this to this. And the question is, if I use this series for my group, how many total vendors can be created using this series?
11, I think.
How many?
More 11. After that, we will cross the limit.
You said 11?
Yeah, more 11 we can create under this range.
No.
Is it
Forget
100?
about this part for now. I
Oh,
think you are
okay.
considering this section.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you have this range, for now, just assume this is nothing. Okay. Just completely forget this section. And if you have this series, how many total vendors can be created?
100.
Yes. 100, or if I want to be very specific, 0 as well means 101. But for now, let's say 100 only. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That means when we try to use the existing range, we want to make sure we use the number range which is big enough, not like just 100. Why? Because after some time, this number range will be done. I will not be using this. I will be using number range, let's say, kind of this one, which is slightly bigger one. Or I can use the number range, which is, let's say, 09. This one. See, I can create vendors in millions if I use this range. Or I can use 08 as well. That means we always either create or use the range which is big enough. This was just to explain, but we never use or create this small range. We always create something like this. So that we never go short with the numbers for our group, for our vendors. Okay. So let's try to use, I can use maybe this one, 02, because it is big enough. That means I'm not creating any new, I'm just trying to use something which is already created, 02. I go back one step, I'm not making any changes, so I'm not going to save it. Assign number range to vendor account. Come to this, go to position, my vendor account group is VD01. Assign 02, which we decided to your group, press enter to validate, click on save. Transport request, green check, vendor account group is assigned with the number range 02. And we have done these 3 steps. Create group, which we created VD01. Use number range, we used 02. And we assigned VD01 to 02. So small section of configuration for vendor is done. We have another topic called as partner function. But this partner function we do in separate session, so I skip it for now.